Alright, what's up everybody? Just checking to make sure we've got our sound levels and everything. It looks like the microphone's picking up just fine, so that's good. Hey, it's a Hansi. What's up, Hansi? Just getting ready to get started with our second episode. Looking for the Swarm. Hope you're doing well, friend. Anyway, I've got what I think is going to be a pretty fun little set of recipes for tonight. I'm going to be making chili cheese fries. Is this going to be a semi-regular series? That's the hope right now. So long as there's interest for it, and so long as I can keep coming up with ideas. Anyway, I'm just getting all my produce unwrapped. But yeah, my hope is to keep doing this once or twice a month for the foreseeable future, so long as I have ideas. Rustling bags. It's like ASMR. Alright, so tonight dinner is going to be bar food. We're going to be having chili cheese fries and chicken quesadilla. So, of course, we're going to be making chili. We're going to be making homemade hand-cut fries. And we're going to be making some quesadillas. So, for our chili, I've got here 2 pounds of boneless short rib. You can do ground beef, you can do stew meat, you can do pork, veal, whatever. I mean, I probably wouldn't put veal in chili, but I suppose you could. You could do bone-in short ribs and debone them yourselves and save some money if you feel like doing that. But I was feeling lazy today. This is kind of expensive to get the short rib boneless like this, but I thought it was worth it to save some time. I've got here a mixture of dried chilies. I think I've got, if I remember correctly, I've got 6 guajillo and 4 arbol chilies in there. If you can get them, I recommend throwing in a couple ancho chilies too. We're going to be seeding these and simmering them in chicken stock. So, trying to think what else I wanted to talk about before we get started. Oh, as far as fresh produce goes, I have 1 large white onion, a red bell pepper, and a green bell pepper. Not a clove, but a head of garlic, and 2 jalapeno peppers, fresh jalapenos. As far as canned or frozen stuff goes, I have a can of black beans, a can of petty diced tomatoes, I've got a can of red kidney beans, and then a small bag of sweet corn. Yes, I know corn and chili is not traditional. I don't give a shit. So let's get started by seeding these peppers. And what I really mean is, let's start by washing our hands. Which should be the unstated start of every recipe. Got my freshly sharpened chef's knife here. I just finished sharpening this before stream, so it is sharp enough to shave with. This pop filter's in the way. Alright, so let's start seeding our peppers. Now, if I'd have been thinking, I would have had something already set out to dump the seeds into. The seeds hold most of the capsaicin, which is the chemical that makes things spicy. So you don't want to have too many of them in there. That and they don't blend up very well, so get them out of there if you can. As a word of warning from somebody with experience, don't touch your eyes after doing this. Wash your hands very thoroughly after doing this, and don't touch your eyes or any other sensitive bits. And don't touch anybody else's sensitive bits either. Not much in the way of seeds in these. These are pretty dried out, though. Yeah. The arbles are a little more difficult to seed because they're so skinny. Trying not to lose too much of the flesh while doing this, but it's difficult. But you kind of want these torn into strips anyway, so it's not a big deal. Some of these are drier than others, and they're starting to fall apart. Ah, that one cooperated beautifully. Excellent. So next thing we're going to do is get a pan warming up on the stove. We're going to give that about 30 seconds to warm up. How's the sound levels, by the way? Can you hear everything pretty well? If I need to turn the levels up or down something, please let me know. Good, good. Thanks, Only One Shawshank. Alright, so let's switch to our stove view. I'm going to throw these peppers into a pan. Now we want to get these warm, but we don't want them to smoke. We want to agitate them every so often. While that's going on, I'm going to clean up my board real quick. Not want... No. As a word to the wise, if you do dump these seeds in the trash, make sure you take the trash out as soon as you're done cooking. Don't walk out of the room if you have a dog, because the dog gets into the trash and gets into those. You're going to have a bad time. Just want to get these warmed up to where they're fragrant and pliable. I probably should pour these. Yeah, the guajillo up into smaller pieces. We're gonna do that. Operate. There we go. And it's such a shame you can't stream scent over the internet, because these are already starting to get fragrant. So we want to just keep warming them up for another minute or two, not too long. Keep agitating them so they don't sit on any one side and burn. Obviously, that. Alternatively, if you don't feel like doing this, if you don't feel like, watching a pan and tossing them every so often, you could also very easily just throw them in the microwave and nuke them 15-second bursts for 30 to 45 seconds total. The point is just get them hot so they're pliable and fragrant. Oh yeah. Not quite as soft as I want them yet, but they're getting there. We've got our bowl and our plastic wrap. Now, as far as other tools I'm going to be using tonight, you're going to want to have an oven, obviously, and I've also got over here my fryer warming up. And that's going to be for the French fries. Fortunately, my fryer isn't the fanciest, so normally when you're making fresh fries, you want to fry them at least twice, once in cooler oil and once in warmer oil. But my fryer only has one setting, so we're actually going to boil the fries for a few minutes and then let them cool and then fry them. But that's all coming later. We want to get the chili started first because it's the most labor part. Oh, that's perfect. Just want to put these in a bowl. And cover them up with foil. Or not foil, but plastic wrap. I guess you could use foil. The point is you gotta cover it so they stay warm and pliable. while you do other things. And then, let's get our mise en place. Start with onion. Webcam angle's a little funky. That's better. We want to cut one end off the onion. Cut it in half. We want to leave the root in place because that helps hold it together. And we want to peel the skin off. Make sure we get all the skin off our board so they doesn't get mixed up in the onions. Gosh, I can't talk tonight, guys. Sorry. And we just slice our onion down lengthwise like this. And we just grip the onion like a tennis ball or baseball, whatever. Slice it down like that. Same with this half. Almost nicked myself there. And we've got some nice diced onion now. So, I want to throw the onions. There we go. Don't want any skin from the onion in our diced onion. We're going to set this aside. Next, let's address our peppers. Make sure you peel these stickers off. They're not, like, toxic or anything, they just don't taste good. You don't want them in your food. Don't forget to get that little bit off the bottom. And do the same with the green pepper. And it's basically the same deal with the peppers as it was in the onion. Cut it into strips. And cut it down the other way. It doesn't have to be super fine. This size is probably good for what we're doing. I think I want another bowl for this stuff. Again, this is chili. It doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be pretty. You just want to make sure your pieces are kind of an even size, so they'll cook evenly. What's on the menu tonight? Chili cheese fries and chicken quesadillas, well-brained. How are you doing tonight? Good to see you. Sounds pretty American? Yeah, it is. It's two of my favorite drinking foods. Now, tend our jalapenos. I got those hookers in the back somewhere. I can't tell you about that, El Baracho. It's a TOS violation. We cut the jalapeno, kind of like we did the green peppers. We want to kind of cut around this core so that we get most of the seeds out of them. You can leave some of the seeds in if you like the spice. That is up to you. I think for this application, I prefer a hearty chili rather than a super spicy chili, so that's what I'm going for. Where are the habaneros at? Oh man, I was looking at them at the grocery store, thinking about it, but I'm like, nah, that's gonna be too spicy for my girlfriend, so. She doesn't handle spice the way I do. So again, we're gonna want to cut this kind of like we cut the green peppers, like same size. And needless to say, this is the same deal as with handling the dried chilies. Don't touch your eyes. Don't touch your naughty bits. Don't touch anyone else's eyes or naughty bits until you've thoroughly washed your hands. Or you might give somebody a very unpleasant surprise. Maybe even yourself. I've done it. I know other people that have. It's not fun. Now, it's not quite a julienne cut. A julienne cut would be much, much thinner. Like a julienne cut would be almost like... or like this. See how thin that is? And even that, even that could almost be too thick for a julienne. This is more of like a medium dice, I would say. So I worked in a bar before. Not a bar, I worked in a few different restaurants. My first restaurant job was just washing dishes at a Ponderosa buffet when I was 16. I worked at a country club as a dishwasher and a cook. I was on the opening team for an Olive Garden. And then I ended up going back to the country club and working there another 4 years. Started washing dishes as your first and as a waiter? Yep. Everybody starts out as a dishwasher or a busser. And that's the way it should be. You gotta start out with the bitch work. Prove that you can handle that before you get the better jobs. And you know, I say bitch work, but really it's very essential work. Like, a kitchen will fall apart without a decent dishwasher. Good dishwashers are gold. So we've got our garlic here. We want about 4 or 5 cloves out of this, so I'm just gonna smash it. That does not want to come apart. There we go. That's 5 cloves. That ought to do the trick. Now, to peel garlic, I mean, you could just painstakingly peel the paper off of every clove of garlic with your hands. But that's boring and time-consuming. I like to do this. I'm knocking shit off the sink. And you see, the paper comes right off. I didn't even have to peel this one, or this one. But you see, the garlic is a little bit green on the inside, so this stuff is old. Which is really disappointing, because I just bought it today. I literally bought this garlic an hour ago, and it's green on the inside, because it's old. So that's annoying. So we'll have to... Let's take another clove off here to make up for the stuff we're going to cut out. Same as onion, we want to make sure all the paper is off the board before we start cutting, because we don't want that in the food. Yeah, this whole... Yeah, you see, this stuff is actually starting to sprout already. We're going to cut all the green out, so we're left with only the good bits. It's bar food. Will there be nachos? Not tonight, but I think I might do more than one episode on bar food, so stay tuned. And we just kind of want to rough chop this garlic and then mince it. Alright, so there we have some minced garlic. And I need another bowl to put that in. Or a little container of some kind. This'll do the job. Now we've got all our mise en place ready to go. Garlic, onion, peppers. Excuse me. Oh no, I dropped a clove of garlic into my bowl of peppers. That not have been good. Alright. The next thing I want to do, let's address our short rib. So we've got our pan over here heating up. Just want to get something to put our short ribs on so they're not contaminating our board. I'm just going to use a paper plate here. Geez, what is this made of? There we go. Oh, the kitchen inspector's here. Everybody hide. Hi, Clemmy. Hey, puppy. Hi. Hi. No, you can't have short ribs, but I'll give you pets. Good girl. There we go. Alright, puppy, go lay down. Gonna wash my hands again before I touch any food because I just touched the dog. Clean hands are very important. There we have our boneless short ribs. So we want to kind of arrange these so that they're all laid flat on the plate so we can season them. And now we've got a pinch pot over here of just kosher salt and black pepper. Just a little bit. We're going to season our short ribs fairly liberally with that. Because under-seasoned meat is the sadness. There we go. Now we switch back over to our stove cam. I've got a pan heating up here for short ribs, and we're going to drizzle some oil in there. Nice and hot already. There, that looks better. grab our tongs. Very important. If you're using kitchen tongs, you have to click them at least 3 times to make sure they work. We're going to throw our short ribs seasoned side down in the keep screwing up, guys. This is a disaster. Alright. And we want to season the other side of our short ribs just as liberally as we season the other side. There we go. That smells wonderful. And we want to just let them be patient. Don't rush them. If they're stuck, they're not ready to turn yet. But see that wonderful crust we're getting on the outside? That's what we want. Let the Maillard reaction do its thing. You want nachos and a cheese dip and a sour cream one? Yeah, we could probably do something like that. Whew. It's hot in here. I need some water. That's better. We want to make sure all sides of our short ribs get some love. If at all possible. Don't worry about cooking them all the way, because they're going to cook for a long ass time in our chili. You want to give them plenty of chance to form a nice crust on the outside. While that's going on, I'm going to go... Oh, excuse me, puppy. I've got a quart of chicken stock here from the grocery store. If you've got your own stock, if you made it yourself, go ahead and use it. But that was time I didn't have this afternoon. I didn't have any frozen. If you're going to use stock from the grocery store, use chicken. People have asked me before, why are you using chicken stock in chili when it's a beef It's a beef dish. Shouldn't you use beef stock? Well, if you have homemade beef stock, I think that's fine. Yeah, that's great. Reinforce that beefy flavor. But the beef stock you get at the grocery store is almost universally garbage. It's mostly made from yeast products and doesn't have much in the way of actual beef in it. It's all yeast products and artificial flavoring. So if you have homemade beef stock, go ahead and use it. But if all you have access to is grocery store stock, use chicken. Because chicken is cheap enough that they actually make it with real chicken. Oh my god, guys, this smells so good right now. Short ribs are the tits. So, pull off the heat. Very good. Now, some of you might be thinking, wow, that pan's really dirty. But no. No, this is beautiful, beautiful fond. And we are going to make use of that now. We're going to dump our softened chili peppers from earlier in there. And then we're going to deglaze with chicken stock. I've used beer for this before too, but we're going to be adding bourbon to the chili later, so I found that using both beer and bourbon in the chili makes it too bitter. And we just want to take a wooden spoon, scrape along the bottom of this pot, make sure we scrape all of those lovely brown bits off the bottom, because those things are concentrated awesome. I want all of it to. You hear bourbon? Yes, you did. Hope you will approve of my choice. I've got some Maker's Mark here that I've had chilling in the freezer because I want to make, at some point, I want to make an old fashioned. In fact, I think I'm going to have one right now. You might ask, why are you chilling your bourbon? Well, I don't have ice, and I don't want my drink to be warm. This was the next best thing I could come up with. There we go. Simple syrup. There's my. Whoops, my cap. Yes, it's kind of redneck because I don't have a cocktail kit. But whatever. Cheers. Ah, perfection. Whew, might have went a little hard on the bitters, though. See that I've managed to get all of the fond off the bottom of the pan. Let's switch back to our prep cam. And let's start chopping these short ribs up. We want about 1/2-inch chunks, give or take. Oh. This is going to be fantastic. These are perfect medium rare on the inside. Whoop, whew. Close one. I can just hear the dog going, "Aww," in the background. I'm sorry, puppy. Nice crust on the outside, but still medium rare on the inside. Beautiful. So, people have asked me before, I make chili for get-togethers fairly often. They always ask me where I get my recipe. And my recipe has always been evolving. But this recipe is partially adapted from Serious Eats chili recipe. It's vastly simplified. Because like most Serious Eats recipes, their chili recipe gets a bit long-winded and complicated. Exactly, Whiskey. I mean, that's half the point of having a dog, so they clean up shit you drop on the floor. But she's being good, so we're going to give her a little something. Okay? Clementine, do you love your daddy? You love your daddy? Good girl. That's all you get. She's adorable, even if she is. It's funny. When we got her, we adopted her from the local APL. Oh, before I forget, I should dump all these juices in there. We don't want to waste any of that. And we'd been thinking about getting a dog for months, so we had, been watching their website, and we had been picking out dogs we wanted to see on their website. And she wasn't on their website yet, because she was so new. And we saw her, and decided to take her out for a walk. And we walked her around for a few minutes, and she was friendly, and she did pretty good on the leash, and she was fairly quiet, so we brought her back and thought, okay, well, let's look at some other dogs, and we'll come back to her if we decide she's the best pick for us. And I tried to put her back in the kennel there, and she made the most pathetic sound I've ever heard a dog make in my life. And I was just like, fuck. This is the dog we're going home with. And we did. I think we only looked at one other dog while we were there. And as soon as we took him outside for a walk, he jumped on my girlfriend. She was like, nope, 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 we're getting the other one. That's the story of how I ended up with a butt that I love. Anywho, time for a Kesnu Doge emote? Yeah, possibly. I would have to find somebody willing to make it. Anyway, let's have a look at peppers over here and see if they're nice and soft yet. Not quite there yet. We want to simmer these for a few more minutes. So while we're doing that, let's get our potatoes cut up. I want about 3 or 4 nice sized potatoes. Let me just wipe off my board real quick. Off my knife. What are we cooking today? We are making chili cheese fries and quesadillas. Smelly feet. So we want to just give our potatoes a quick rinse in the sink, just to get any dirt off of them. These are pretty clean, so they're not that big of a deal, but it's a good habit. This potato's got a bad spot on it that we're going to cut off. We're going to fill up our 8-quart Pyrex measuring cup with some water so we can store our fries until we're ready to cook them. There we go. We await the potato. What's up, Lagerman? How are you doing tonight? I hope you're well. Getting this camera angle right is a pain in the dick. So anyway, we're going to cut this bad spot off the potato first, right away. There we go, that's better. And we just want to cut our potato into planks. I like mine nice and thin, but you can do them any way you want. And then, again, let's cut them lengthwise. And into the water they go. Like Plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy. Buttered toast. I remember that show. You ever read the fan theory that all the kids in that show were dead and that they were in purgatory, Ligerman? I thought it made a lot of sense. Last time you deep fried, was when trying to replicate the Shakey's Pizza mojo potatoes. I don't think I've ever heard of Shakey's Pizza. But I am a fan of fried potatoes in general, so I'm sure they're delicious. Yeah, last time you deep fried, there were Twinkies involved. Nice. I never liked Twinkies, but maybe deep frying improves them. Let's top off the water in our French fries. There we go. How's our Alright, so we're going to pull this off to cool for a minute. Let's get start heating up our onions for our chili. Dilly dog is a massive dill pickle with a hot dog inserted into it, turned into a corn dog. That sounds interesting. We're just going to give this oil like 30 seconds to come up to temp. Just eat in moderation. Deep fry half the box of Twinkies instead of all of it. XD. And into the pot the onions. A little bit of salt and pepper. Now we're not looking to caramelize these. We just want to cook them translucent. You know, that was my plan, Strophium, but my fryer does not have... Shit, there goes my salt and pepper. My deep fryer only has one setting, so what we're going to do is parboil the fries, and then let them cool, and then fry them. In fact, I can start doing that. It's the Charlie Sheen fryer. I have one speed. Go. And also AIDS. Throw all our peppers in. Yeah, I was a little smarter with cable management this time, Lagerman. This can go right in the dishwasher. Look how colorful that is. Isn't that beautiful? The Mike Cord is the secret flavor, just like bay leaves. XD. Still want to know how June from June's Kitchen managed to get that look up out of the boiling oil shot for his tempura? Food floating on top, camera underneath? Good question. You're modded and Sea of Whiskey isn't? Well, to be honest, I didn't know if Sea of Whiskey would want to be a mod here, because he's mod everywhere else. I didn't want to put that on him. Yeah, that makes sense, Whiskey. You're usually lurking when you're here, so... And I didn't want to put that pressure on you if you weren't interested. Or if you didn't want it. Whew. Yeah, our onions are starting to get nice and translucent. Next, I want to get what I think is one of the most underrated tools in the kitchen, a stick blender. Probably want to crack a window for this. Well, we want to take our pot of our pot of stock and dried chilies. Bring it over here. And we want to blend the shit out of it. These didn't blend up as well as they normally do. I think what I have to do, I have to strain it. So we don't want big bits of dried chili skin in there. Oh crap. Got to throw the I can't stop knocking shit over. There's that. Plug our computer back. That would suck if the battery just died in the middle of the stream. Ugh. Stream. Anyway, now we want to add our beef. And then search frantically for a can opener. Oh, it's actually where I left it. Got all of our canned stuff opened up. And we want to grab our secret ingredient. This is pureed chipotle peppers and adobo sauce. A little bit of this adds a lot of flavor to Mexican. No quesadilla for you? Okay. I will only make one then. Add all of our canned stuff. Black beans. Kidney beans. Diced tomatoes. And sweet corn. Fuck. Give that all a nice stir. Where's the cob at? Presumably, whatever factory, scraped the corn off the cob, where you'd find the cob. Our potatoes came to a boil, so we're going to pull them off and let them cool. I mean, it's organic. It's fine. Yes, I can close the window now. Ooh, that's hot. I'm gonna strain our fries. And we want to spread them. That was annoying. Spread them on a tray to cool for a bit. Whew. That shit is hot. Alright, and what else? Want to season our chili. Cumin. I like a lot of cumin chili. A little bit red chili flake. And a generous helping of oregano. About a tablespoon. Probably more than a tablespoon. I'm eyeballing it. Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that one, Strophium. That looked huge. I'll throw these in. And I'm back. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How often would I say I cook any Indian food? I don't think I've ever cooked Indian food. Sad to say. Oh, I wish I had a mortar and pestle. I feel like that'd take my spice game to the next level if I had a spice grinder or a mortar and pestle to grind my own spice. Whew. We just want to simmer this for a while. Crushing instead of blending makes the flavor of pesto come out more. Yeah, so I've heard. I've made pesto before, but not in a mortar and pestle. As soon as this comes to a boil, I'm going to turn the heat down. We're just going to let it simmer for a while. Then we'll get to getting our ingredients together for our quesadillas. Any questions so far, guys? Now or forever hold your peace. The pot steel or aluminum? To be honest, I don't really know. It's a Calphalon pan. Can't remember if it's aluminum or probably aluminum. Oh, guys, the stuff already smells so good. It's not even done yet. Yeah, it's non-stick. It's got the non-stick coating, so I'm not sure what's underneath that coating. Stainless is pretty cheap to mass manufacture nowadays. That's true. That's definitely true. Right, depends on the alloy. Some of the stuff some of our pots and pans are so old and came secondhand, I have no idea what they're made out of or what brand they are even. This one we've only had for a year or so. Unfortunately, with non-stick cookware, I found that getting more than 2 or 3 years out of them is a bit of a challenge. Doing the good stuff now? Yeah. Do I mash any of the beans to thicken it, or just let it go naturally? I just let it go naturally. One thing I've wanted to try is like grinding up some tortilla chips and mixing them in with the like chili, dried chili and sock slurry. That's supposed to let it thicken up really well. But I mean, you let it cook long enough, it'll thicken on its own anyway. Heading in the right direction. Oh yeah. Why is the chili sweet? I didn't have tortilla chips to add to thicken it, so I used deep fried Twinkies. An S30V knife? I'm not familiar with that. Extremely hard steel. Oh, nice. What I have right now is this is a Chicago cutlery chef's knife, and it's fine for like a $30 knife. You can see, might be able to tell, that it's been diminished quite a bit by being resharpened over and over again. But that's a pretty good knife. Yeah, only about an eighth of an inch down. Didn't even notice it until Thanksgiving. I took my knife down to my dad's house and my knife sharpening supplies, and I sharpened all his knives while I was down there. But I showed him mine. He was the one that pointed out, like, oh, I can see how it's worn down a bit from being sharpened over and over. Yeah, honing is very important too. Um, and I do have a nice honing steel here. I think I picked it up for like $15 at GFS. But this is like cheaper knives tend to be made out of softer steel, so that's why they need to be sharpened more often. You go for a steeper angle, Strophium? What kind of angle do you go for? I usually go for about 20 degrees. 22 degrees, something like that. My sharpening stone kit actually came... I'm trying to find it right now. Anyway, my sharpening kit came with this little guide for 2 different angles for sharpening at, which I thought was cool. It's not like something that you actually use while you're sharpening, you just use it to judge the angle set off to the side. Getting a nice boil out of our chili, so I'm going to turn it down a bit. We're going to let it simmer. That's pretty cool, Lagerman. I would say that pocket knives generally don't see as much use as kitchen knives, though. But still, 2 years without ever needing sharpened is pretty impressive. Let me put my honing. Clean up a little bit. Funny, I watch other cooking streams and they have like assistants and stuff behind the scenes washing dishes and shit for them. Not me. I gotta wash as I go. Let's address our chicken. Tonight. Here it is. Still sitting out on the counter. Let's switch back to our prep can here. Give our board a quick wash down. There we go. Nice clean cutting board. So what I've got here is some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. Keep an eye out for these in the supermarket. They're often cheaper than boneless, skinless chicken breast. And I think they actually have a better flavor. They also tend to hold up to long cooking better, so if you're doing a soup or something, this is the stuff to get. What we want to do is just cut them into nice little strips. Just like this. In your area, if the thighs and breasts cost the same, it seems to depend. It seems to vary from day to day here, Whiskey. Like sometimes the thighs are cheaper, sometimes the breasts are cheaper, sometimes they're the same price. It was a pretty big differential today when I was at the grocery store. I think the breasts were like $5.49 or $5.99 a pound, and these were $2.99 a pound, if I remember correctly. I'm not going to dig out the package from the trash to look again, but I'm pretty sure they were $2.99 a pound. Now, granted, I went to Heinen's today, which is sort of the, like, yuppie upper class grocery store, but I didn't check at any of the other grocery stores to see how they compared. We also have an Aldi around here, which I should probably go to more because I could probably save quite a bit of money. Oh, I also have a Costco membership, but the last time I checked, they didn't usually have the boneless thighs. I'm gonna wash my hands again. For here, you think it's because a lot of people cook where meat is meat, so aside from wings, there's no demand for a particular cut. That's interesting. And that's probably true. Every region has its own. Yep, $2.99 a pound for that. Now I gotta wash my hands again. See, the neighborhood I'm in, the neighborhood I live in is probably, well, definitely lower middle class. I think the median home value here is only like $75,000 or something like that. But if I go like 10, 15 minutes down the road, I'm in upper middle class neighborhoods. So I kind of have access to all those nice amenities that the upper middle class people like without having to pay the premium to live in, like, housing costs to have access to them. Let's wash this board off again real quick. Clean hands and clean surfaces are the key to safe cooking. Younger generations tend to get prepared meals or eat out around here. Yeah, I think that's probably true just about anywhere. A lot of people my age just don't know how to cook. When in doubt, deep fry everything into a... I support that. Alright, so... But cooking is so simple. I know! That's part of the reason I wanted to do this. Because I want to show people this isn't that hard. And you can make some really fancy stuff without having to put a whole lot of effort into it. Like, you would be amazed how easy some really fancy stuff is to make. But, we're going to marinate our chicken now. A little bit of vegetable oil. Oops. Bumped the mic. A little bit of our chipotle chili paste. Which I don't have any spoons left to... Fuck. Let me wash one off real quick. Chipotle is what's up. Yeah, this is actually the secret to Chipotle, the burrito place. Their meat is all marinated in this stuff. Want about a tablespoon and a half of that. And cumin. Yeah, and about a tablespoon and a half is probably about right. A pinch of red chili flake. About a tablespoon to a tablespoon and a half of basil. And a similar amount of oregano. You're wondering how I know what I'm measuring without, like, getting out a measuring spoon? It's practice. So, when you're starting out, when you're learning, use your measuring spoons, but dump it into your hand before you dump it into the food. So you get an idea of what it looks like. My spoon blends perfectly with the pot, into the pot on the face cam. Nice. Alright, so... I seem to have lost my tongs. Did I put them? Oh. I don't know why I put them in the dishwasher. I'm not done with them yet. We just want to give our chicken and everything a nice mix. And you can see this even looks like the chicken that they serve at Chipotle before they cook it. I don't know that they season it the exact same way I do, but the pureed Chipotles are definitely a key element, and this is pretty close. yeah, we've got our chicken marinated. Chili is simmering nicely. Lost Tons are the worst. Yeah, definitely. Also, hi, Adraseth. I saw you were here and forgot to say hello, so I apologize for that. But it's good to see you, man. Trying to make sure I'm caught up with chat. Do Americans use as much bolognese? So, I would say, well-brained, that most Americans don't know what bolognese traditionally is. In America, if you ask for a bolognese sauce at most restaurants, what you'll get is a tomato sauce with some ground beef in it. And what real authentic bolognese is, ketchup? No, not like ketchup. But like, let me see, I have a can. They would have, like, say, a can of, like, crushed tomatoes, or pureed tomatoes, simmered with herbs and spices, and ground beef, and maybe some added onion and garlic. Um, but a real authentic bolognese sauce is, it's a meat gravy, basically, with very little tomato in it. That's simmered for hours. It's, beef, pork, and veal and pancetta browned and then simmered in stock and bay leaves and wine and a little bit of dairy and tomato paste. Hi, Whiskery Ant. Good to see you. Anyway, I'm going to go pull the fries out of the freezer. I'll be right back. Alright, so our french fries have cooled down nicely. As you can see. Oh yeah, you can definitely skip the veal in bolognese. It doesn't add much in terms of flavor; it's a texture thing. But I had I had a great bolognese at a local Italian place that was made entirely with short rib. It was delicious. Potates. So I'm actually warming up my other burner so I can um, transfer the chili to a different burner so I can cook the chicken on the burner that's actually under the webcam. God damn it. Whew. The microphone cable caught the tongs before they hit the floor. That's the unfortunate thing about cooking with an electric gas top stove. It actually takes a little bit of time for the burner to come up to temperature, where you don't get that so much with a gas burner. We're going to transfer our chili to a different burner so it can simmer away on that. The other thing is, it's impossible to keep these stoves clean. What's on the menu? We are having chili cheese fries and chicken quesadillas. So we've got our French fries here. That reminds me of a story I heard some years ago that I thought was hilarious. There was a man named James French who was on death row. And on his way to the electric chair, he shouted to the reporter, "Here's your headline for tomorrow, French fries!" I'm a sucker for a good pun, what can I say? Sounds tasty? That's the hope. So, we're going to actually reuse our stainless steel saute pan from earlier that we heated up our dried chilies in. We're just going to rinse it out. Let it dry with a towel. Morbid but hilarious. Unfortunately, they do search you, so you can't get away with putting microwave popcorn under your clothing. I don't know, does any state still use the electric chair in this day and age? Really? Let me guess, Texas? Really? I figured if any state still did it, it was Texas. Florida, of course. Florida. Any of you guys do the Florida challenge where you look up Florida man plus your birthday? I did that the other day. The headline that came up was Florida man, something like Florida man gets a domestic violence charge for tossing a cookie at his wife. Something like that. Number of states still allow the condemned person to choose between electrocution and lethal injection. Huh. I think there's still 1 or 2 states that allow execution by firing squad, too, if I remember correctly. Which, that's all kinds of fucked up, but whatever. 7 in Virginia, 3 in South Carolina, 3 in Tennessee, and 1 in Arkansas have chosen the electric chair. Recently, you mean, Whisker Ant? Such a morbid topic of discussion. Hey, seasoned rookie. Welcome to the stream. 9 states still allow the electric chair? 9? Wow. I mean, you might have guessed this, but I'm not a huge fan of the death. I'm surprised it's that many. Most recent use of the chair was on December 16th, 2018, when David Earl Miller was executed in Tennessee after he elected to die by electrocution over lethal injection. Interesting. Alright. Our chili's simmering away. I think we want to do our fries next. Let's see. I can show you guys. Okay. That's good enough. Want to bring our basket up out of the oil. Load it up. I think I want to do this in 2 batches. Oh, careful. There we go. Don't want this to overflow. For execution, you'd ask for a headsman, go old school. Who would end a man's life, you should be willing to swing the sword and hear his last words. I'm probably butchering the quote, but I'm trying to quote Ned Stark from Game. The last person to be executed by electric chair without the choice of an alternative method was Linda Lyon Block on May 10th, 2002 in Alabama. Old Sparky is the 3-legged chair in Florida. Holy shit, that's so screwed up. People are fucked up. You know that, guys? That's noise. Sorry for the noise, folks. I should change my noise gate? Okay. What do you think? It needs to be adjusted up or down? Maybe just turned off? I can do that. There, is that better? Am I cutting out less? Okay. Lesson learned. See, this is a completely different computer than I use for my StarCraft stream. So, you know, I haven't tweaked the settings as much. I feel like I missed something interesting in chat there. They had a major prison riot and takeover when that chair was built, when the inmates making it found out what it was going to be used for. Rule of thumb, don't have death row inmates build their own means of execution. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, can you blame them? Oh, what'd I do? There we go. ASMR cooking. ASMR streams confuse me too, Whiskery Ant. There's a beer commercial on TV right now that's, I guess, is supposed to be referencing those streams. And it just annoys the living shit out of me. And it's for some shitty beer like Miller High Life or something like that. Which, that stuff tastes the same coming out of you as it does going in. It's okay. most ASMR has turned into whispering with boobs. Yeah, like pretty much every other type of streaming. The funny thing is, yeah, that's my girlfriend behind me. Say hello to the internet, sweetie.
Hi.
The thing that that cracks me up about that beer commercial is the actress looks like Emilia Clarke, except black. So the running joke between my girlfriend and I is, it's Black Daenerys Targaryen again. Make her go away. Every ASMR audio you've ever heard either has no effect or makes you stabby. Me too, Whiskey. I don't know if it's because I'm on the spectrum or what. Like, maybe if I wasn't, maybe because I'm autistic, the neural pathways that make ASMR work for neurotypical people don't work for me, or... I don't know. You think it's just hit or miss? That's also possible. Everyone's wired differently? Very true, Whiskey. Always worth keeping in mind. Not everybody is going to think or feel the same way about something no matter what. Think about how boring life would be if that was the case. Okay, yeah, I can see that, Strophium. Like rain on a tin roof, that kind of reminds me of being a kid and like camping out in the living room and making a fort out of the couch cushions on a rainy night. Anyway, I'm keeping an eye on our fries, our first batch of fries, and they are almost there. I just want them to develop a bit more color. There's people actually allergic to water? Really? How do they live? No reaction when it's inside them, so they can eat and drink. But if they sweat, it makes their skin break out? Ugh. That sounds terrible. By the way, guys, I know it's not on camera, but I just want to move the camera for a second, show off our delicious chili. Look how much it's reduced in just the last half hour. That is beautiful. Look at that. It's reduced by like a quarter of the pan. Oh, I almost forgot. So we want to turn on our oven, crank it up to 375. Sounds good. Oh yeah, give us that sexy chili shot. TOS violation. Oh yes, it's very warm in here. Let's see. I've got my little Thermapen here. I guess it's not that warm in here. Normally, we keep the thermostat at 68 or 69. And normally it's like 67 here in the kitchen. Right now it's 72, according to this. So, depends on how much you trust. But if I'm standing, like, next to the stove, it definitely feels warmer than that. I go under... Oh, yeah. It's like 80 degrees by the stove. But just like here in the center of the kitchen, it's like 72, which isn't horrible. That's about what we keep it at during the summer. So it'll probably be closer to 80 in here during the summer. The problem is I'm a fat guy. So even like temperatures that are not horribly warm make me sweat like crazy. Ah! Alright, so our first batch of fries are a nice light golden brown. Look at that. That is sexy. Just a pinch of salt and pepper on those. And let's do the rest. Nice and crisp on the outside, but still soft and chewy on the inside. It's always a balancing act in this house because I like crispy fries. Can you hear how crispy those are? My girlfriend likes her fries to be a little more chewy. So I try to hit a sweet spot where they're crisp but not crunchy. I'm gonna eat the whole. Super crispy fries that feel like mashed potatoes in the middle. You'd like my roasted Redskins then, Strophium. I parboil them, and then I toss them with herbs, oil, and spices. And I toss them in a 400-degree oven and just let them cook. Let them cook till they're nice and crispy. I almost forgot. We gotta shred our cheese, guys. Pupper. Clemmy, you want to say hello to the internet again? Hi, puppy. Are you my good girl? Yeah. Who's a good pupper? Clementine, sit. Good girl. That's the only trick she knows, guys. I'm sorry. She's not very smart. What is she? So, the vet told us she was a beagle, but she's too big to be a beagle. The best guess we've got is that she's some mix, some hound mix. She's from a shelter? Yeah. we had to get a note from a vet proving that she wasn't like a pit bull or anything like that before our landlord would let us have her. And so the vet that we saw at the time was just like, this dog is a beagle. That's literally all the note said. To whom it may concern, this dog is a beagle. Signed, random asshole vet, MD, whatever. I forget his name. The vet we take her to now thinks she's got some deer hound in her based on the shape of her nose. Oh, see, I think he's an asshole because he got pissed at us that one of my cats, the one that hangs out with me all the time when I'm streaming StarCraft, that drives me nuts, she bit him once, and he was mad at us over it. I'm like, he was, like, putting his fingers in her face, like, rubbing her face all over, really rough. Of course she was gonna bite him. She was obviously stressed. It's not hard to not get bit by a cat. Just don't piss them off. Anyway, all we've got here is some generic, like, New York sharp cheddar cheese. Pretty much why you don't have cats. Cats are great if you live a lifestyle where you're on the go, because you can leave them food in a clean litter box and fuck off for a day or two and they won't be too bothered. Dogs, you can't do that. But anyway, this is just some generic, like, New York sharp, extra sharp cheddar cheese. It's nothing fancy. We don't need anything fancy for this. We're just gonna shred. Oh! Runaway camera. There we go. I remember a few years ago when I was still living on my own, I was visiting my aunt and uncle out in Minerva County. I think that's the name of the county. But we got snowed in. And it took like 2 days for the plows to get through there because they lived in such a rural area. And my cats were fine. Like, somebody had to come give them food at some point, but my brother lived downstairs, so it wasn't a big deal at all. So he just went upstairs and gave them food one day, and they were fine. But if I'd have had a dog, I would have been seriously considering driving back in that mess, even though I probably would have gotten stuck. I definitely would have gotten stuck, so I would have been in a total panic, knowing I can't go anywhere and my dog's stuck at home without anybody to feed her. But that was before we got this little monster. I think we've had her about 4 years. 4 years in August. She had the biggest sob story, too. Like, when we got to the shelter and saw her. I was talking about this a little bit earlier. She was so new to the shelter, she wasn't even on their website yet. But, I was like, it looks like she was, I asked the volunteer, it looks like she was pregnant. Is she pregnant? And they said she was, but she lost all the puppies. And we were both like, aww. They found her wandering on some farm in Amish country. She was malnourished and pregnant and just like, aw, this poor dog. Of course, I talked to my dad later, and usually he says, my dad's a dog breeder, and he said that that's code for she was rescued from an Amish puppy mill, which is just even more terrible. Even the Amish people have assholes, apparently. Would you like a little cheese? Come here. Come on. Gotta jump up here. You can do better than that. Come on. Aw, good girl. So yeah, the volunteer at the APL told us that she had just lost all of her puppies, like she had miscarried, and they had just spayed her 2 days before. 2 or 3 days, I can't remember. So, hey, no, garlic is bad for doggies. How did that get on the floor? Hi, Sinastron. We are making chili cheese fries and quesadillas. How are our fries doing? Oh, they're getting there. I think 1 more minute and these bad boys will be ready to go. Sinastron, have you seen my dog before? Say hello to Clementine. Say hi, Sinastron. She's too busy licking noms off the floor. Is this a weekly thing? I'm not 100% sure what kind of schedule I'm going to follow this. Probably once or twice a month. Like every other weekend, something like that. Alright, good eating, Whiskery Ant. See you soon. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this other sheet pan. I'm going to line it with aluminum foil. If I can remember where I put the aluminum foil. Oh, I already had it out. Past Kessnuts was smarter than present Kessnuts, apparently. So before anybody asks, the reason that I'm lining this with aluminum foil is so it's easier to clean up. And our second batch of fries is coming up right now. There we go. Look at that. Isn't that glorious? Oh yeah, if you can get to a restaurant supply store or something like that and get the giant boxes of foil and plastic wrap, those are the best. We have a Gordon Food Service store about 5 or 10 minutes up the street. I used to work there, and that's where we get a lot of stuff that we need in bulk that maybe Costco doesn't have. That's not going to fit in the dishwasher. Alright. Now we can unplug that. Now, our chili is nice and reduced. It's reduced by about 1/3. I still don't have any clean spoons. Whatever. Just do this. Oh yeah. So, the last two things we need to add to this are, let me get a measuring cup. We need about 1/8 of a cup of apple cider vinegar, which I have right here. A lot of times, if you taste your food and it's got enough salt and everything and seasoning but still seems to be missing something, what's missing is acid. Apple cider vinegar is a nice mellow acid that doesn't overpower the food. And then the other thing is our bourbon. Found out by accident, apple cider vinegar works far better than distilled vinegar for cleaning glassware. Yeah, the reason you use distilled vinegar for cleaning is because it's cheaper than the other stuff. Then we've got 1/8 of a cup of our bourbon. Back into the freezer with you. Want to give that just a minute or two to cook down. Whiskery Ant and Sea of Whiskey in the same stream. How long until you start reading Whiskey Ant and Sea of Whiskery? Whiskey One and Whiskey Lullaby to the stream. Yeah, invite away. The more the merrier. How are we looking now? After I finish this drink, probably. Oh, that's good. So how you been, Sinastro? I haven't seen you in a while. How's your job? I remember you mentioning you got promoted or were interviewing for a promotion. Work is kind of okay? That's good. That's good. Alright. I knew I had a ladle here somewhere. So, want to get a nice hearty scoop of our chili. And we just want to slather that all over the fries. All over. Promotion where you get the have more responsibility for the same pay. Damn, that sucks. Has it really been almost a year? I think events blur together in my head. I'm sorry. Let's throw some cheese on top of these. Really, they don't do this where you live, Well-Brained? You should try it. So, back to the stove cam. You've gotten all the food you're going to get, puppy. Quit begging. Got a nice hot pan here. Excuse me, pupper. All always in my way. Oh, I almost forgot. Nah, we can do that after. So you want to get... Oh, that's right, my girlfriend doesn't want a quesadilla. Okay. So you want to get a decent amount of chicken on a plate. Season them with salt and pepper. Into the pan they go. Season the other side. Won't the fries become kind of mushy? It depends. What I will say is that the flavor of the chili and stuff, or whatever, like melding into the fries, is so delicious you won't really care. The downside of using pureed chipotles on the in the quesadilla is that, or on the chicken, is that it makes a lot of smoke. You prefer steak cut fries for chili cheese fries? Yeah, that's a valid way to do it too. So while the chicken's cooking, I'm grabbing one of my cast iron pans and heating it up. Yep, just casually pepper gassing myself, I know. Let's wrap this chicken and put it away. Oh, God. I need a better ventilated kitchen. Okay. So I've got a little bowl here. To throw my chicken into. We're going to throw some of our cheese in there. Give it a quick toss. Make sure everything's well mixed. If you like peppers and onions in your quesadilla, this would be the time to add those. I do not, so I do not add them. And, of course, last but not least, get my cast iron pan over on this burner. Got some 6-inch, I think these are 6-inch tortillas. They might be 8-inch, I'm not sure. 2 of those. Gonna throw our cheese and chicken mixture in between the 2 of them, like so. That's important to make sure that your fillings fill the entire quesadilla. You don't want any gaps at the edges. And finally, oil the pan. And our quesadilla goes in the pan. What's a quesadilla? A quesadilla is basically, think of it as a Tex-Mex grilled cheese. It's either a big tortilla folded in half or two smaller tortillas with cheese and other fillings in between. Didn't know I did cooking streams. It's something that I just started doing. It's a lot of fun. Crank the heat down a little bit now so the tortillas don't burn. Now this is the real trick. This is what separates the men from the boys, is flipping the quesadilla without spilling anything. You can see I did spill one piece of chicken. I think I can finagle it back in there without too much trouble. There we go. I've never tried corn tortillas for quesadillas, but that does sound delicious. Oh, that reminds me, the grocery store actually had suet, beef suet today, which I thought was interesting. I'd never seen it at a grocery store before. Almost done. And now the struggle of having a tiny kitchen. I don't have room for any of this shit. Alright, quesadilla's coming off. Turn the heat off. Now you can see our quesadilla. It's got a nice char on both sides. It's nice and crispy. And now we just kind of cut it like a pizza, cut it into quarters. Let's see if we can get a porny, like, stretchy cheese shot. Nah, oh well. Yep, that's the downside of all of these ethnic cuisines becoming more popular, is a lot of cheap throwaway parts that those ethnic cuisines used are more popular and more expensive. Let's check on our chili cheese fries. Big scary man like me using a Minnie Mouse oven mitt. Oh, just look at this. Would you just look at this? Look how delicious this looks. Puppy wants some? Yes, she would very much like some, but she's had enough. She's gotten enough food tonight. Alright. So, that came out spectacularly. Oh my god. Alright guys, I gotta go or I'm gonna eat this whole thing on camera and look like a total fat ass. But I will be back in an hour or so for StarCraft. So be sure to come back for that. And look for this. If you missed part of the episode, look for it on YouTube here in the next week or so. I will tweet when it's uploaded. If you... there goes my microphone. God damn it. If you don't already, follow me on Twitter and join my Discord to keep in touch with me in between streams and get notifications. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will be back later.